have in store for tonight, which is kind of a lot now that we have the end of Helene in sight. What was left of the storm is going to be pestering us through the rest of the weekend, but we'll talk more about that coming up here in just a little bit, so definitely want to stay tuned for more on that. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onig. This is Weather Overtime. We are live and direct from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee on Friday night, and a rainy, kind of drizzly one out there for this evening. Wish we had some better news where it comes to what's going on with the weather situation for this evening. We need the rainfall, there's no question about that, but we're also going to be seeing some wet conditions for travel, and there's a lot of other stuff going on too where it comes to travel. Power supplies into the Carolinas and down south. A lot of people without power at this point because of Helene's passage, and a lot of travel problems out there. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a little bit. Let's take a look at radar and show you more about what we have going on. We've got Helene, what's left of it, sitting well back to our north, and back to the west of us, we've got even more areas of showers rotating into the area. We're showing nothing in the way of lightning strikes, so some good news on that. But again, for tonight, waves of rain coming on through. Not looking at flash flooding per se, although there are dozens of flood warnings still in effect, mostly for the Carolinas and parts of the Virginias. But for now, it is going to be a potential problem for travel out there as the waters continue to gather into the streams and rivers. Looking at some fairly not good travel conditions for now. We have just very light activity over the area for right about 10 o'clock this evening. You're looking at the News 12 viewing area here, southeast Tennessee, northwest Georgia, northeast Alabama, and a small portion of western North Carolina in around the area of Cherokee County. That's the News 12 viewing area, where we try to make certain that you are getting the best information possible on this. If you're not from this area, welcome to Weather Overtime. Again, this is our online video weather blog where we try to keep you updated as to what's going on with weather across the area. Not seeing a huge amount of rainfall at this time. It is possible that we could be winding up again with some wet conditions out there, but over the next few days we will be looking for the less in the way of rainfall, but that's going to be coming up as we go into next week. So what exactly was our almanac page looking like for today? Temperatures decently below normal. Normal for this time of the year is about the lower 80s or so, and we managed to make the upper 70s thanks to the clouds and the rainfall. Here's the really big news for today: 3.3 inches. That's what we recorded at the airport so far for just today. The only time in Chattanooga weather history that we have gotten more rainfall than this on this date, if I'm not mistaken, was 3.97 inches on this date in 1979. So this is the second highest date of anything involving rainfall that we've seen for this particular 24-hour period, and we needed it too. We are now with a surplus of rainfall where we were looking at 2.5 inches behind normal for the entire month of September. We now have a surplus of 1.74, so we actually managed to wind up with a little bit more in the way of rainfall for today. So that again is very good news for the rest of the day today. And again, for this time of the year, this can be one of the driest months out there. So this is something that is very important. Let's change that from a red to a blue because we are now in a surplus instead of a deficit. We are still in a major deficit for the year, 6 and nearly a half inches, where just about 24 hours ago we were about 11 inches, nearly a foot behind on rainfall for the year. So this has really helped us out. It's done a very good job of that, but in order for us to break even, we need about a half an inch of rain every single week from now until the end of the year to make up for that. Will we get that? Well, that's kind of an iffy situation right there, but at least we did manage to get some of the rainfall out there. Heading out on the great outdoors, into the great outdoors tomorrow, it's going to be mild temperatures below normal. and also seeing more chances of showers, also fairly windy across the area, so that remnant of Helene will begin to give us more potential of showers and maybe a rumble of thunder, although I think that's going to be kind of iffy. Tomorrow you're going to have clouds, you're going to have wind, you're going to have rain, so I think for right now, indoors with a good golf video game would be a good idea, because you will not have not just the gopher to worry about tomorrow on the golf course stealing the golf balls, but there's going to be a lot of other things going on to keep you indoors. So not exactly the best day for outdoor activities coming up, and also not looking at too much of anything in the way of help for outdoors, especially getting Fido out for a walk. Now, into tomorrow, it's going to be a little bit better out there for tomorrow morning, with temperatures again not bad and some chances of rain sticking around from time to time. Unfortunately, this graphic having some issues, but if you'd like to get your dog picture up here for the News 12 dog walking forecast, sponsored by Rough Cuts of Cleveland, Tennessee. That's RUFF Cuts grooming facility. Please send those in to us. Go to our website at wdef.com/dogwalk for more. Kind of a rainy, windy Friday evening out there for most of the News 12 viewing area, and that is where we are seeing plenty of rain showers out there. This is the view, Highway 153, 64 overpass, looking off to the southwest on the Plainview outdoor advertising camera. All of our cameras available at EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam Network at wdef.com/weather if you'd like to see more about what is going on out there. So this is what you're going to have to deal with if you are traveling for tonight. 2475 Chattanooga Red Wolves Stadium. Lots of spray being kicked up by the vehicles, and more potential of this happening overnight, but traffic is moving and doing pretty well at this point for a Friday evening. The airport right over this direction, so a little hazy out there. Holtzclaw Avenue around the area just east of the Chattanooga Zoo. Traffic going fairly well in both directions. You can just barely see I-24 traffic along the ridge there, so we don't have too much to worry about in the way of problems. There was some debris on the roadway being reported earlier up around Athens, Tennessee, north of Charleston, Calhoun, and Ottawa. But for right now, it looks like that may have been taken care of. There's some emergency road work on State Route 39 westbound in McMinn County. But otherwise, things are quiet. It's, again, the rainfall, I think, is doing a pretty good job of keeping a lot of folks at home for this evening. So we're not seeing quite as many folks out and about into and around the area where it comes to anything involving outdoor activities. Not that many folks, a few folks out and about at the area of Coolidge Park at the Chattanooga Theater Center. Some folks out and about on the footbridge, but breezy and scattered showers out across the area downtown on the Speedy's Total Car Care camera. And one more look. Let's see what's happening from the News 12 studios, several dozen feet above me on the Patriot Concrete camera. I-24 traffic moving along nicely. And otherwise, not seeing anything in the way of big visibility problems, but kind of hard to see Signal Mountain lights off there in the distance, so very much on the quiet side tonight. Temperatures at the airport have been pretty stable, back in the mid to high 60s, and that's about where they will be throughout the rest of the evening, so less in the way of rainfall coming up anytime soon for tonight. So little anything really major taking place. I don't see any threat in the way of severe weather, more wet roadways than anything else. That is going to be the main concern for right now. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of everything for tonight. Again, the main weather story is the end of Helene. The National Hurricane Center has issued its final advisory as of 4 o'clock Eastern Time this afternoon, which means that this is no longer a tropical system. It still has enough structures. You can see that big low pressure counterclockwise swirl taking place here over the mid-Mississippi and mid-Ohio river valleys. Plenty of moisture here. All this rainfall working its way counterclockwise back our direction, and that's what we're seeing the leading edge of here. We may have gotten a bit of a break just for a few hours, but now the rainfall continues to make its way on the backside of this system. What does this mean with the final advisory? It is no longer a tropical system. It was post-tropical cyclone Helene. Now it is just a disorganized mess of showers out there and a lot of wind taking place. So if you want to get nitpicky, yes, it is kind of a tropical depression with winds of about 35 miles per hour as of the last update. But beyond that, the National Hurricane Center is no longer keeping track of this system. That falls under the jurisdiction of the Weather Prediction Center, which tracks a lot of the storms on the surface. Anything out in the ocean is the National Hurricane Center's jurisdiction there. But for now, that's it for Helene. And we've seen, again, a lot of decent showers out there for the rest of the period. We are still going to see the potential of some areas of wind into the rest of the forecast. So as the remnants of Helene stick around, we'll continue to see, again, through tomorrow morning, wind gusts of 20 to 30 miles per hour into and around the News 12 viewing area. And the winds will lessen as we go into Saturday, but we're still expecting some fairly breezy conditions right through Saturday afternoon and evening, and then into Sunday. Not bad, but toward Sunday afternoon, we may see part of this area of the low drop a little closer to us, more intense areas of winds surrounding this, and that is where we may see the winds pick back up again on Sunday. So it is possible that we could see a fairly breezy weekend. By Monday morning, looks like we're just back to normal amounts of gust, and what is left of Helene will be kicked over to the East Coast states as our new storm system arrives that could give us maybe some showers out there toward about the middle part of the week. Next week, toward the end of the week as well. We do have, again, less to talk about in the way of problems with flooding. The flood watch remains in effect for areas around Davidson County, Middle Tennessee, into this area. We still have flood warnings in effect for some parts of the area around the News 12 viewing area, including for Whitfield, Georgia, for southern Hamilton County, Rome, Georgia, Floyd, Georgia, picking up some area of some flood warnings here. But the bulk of all the activity are dozens of these areas of flood warnings way back over into the Virginias, the Carolinas, and down into and around the area close to Georgia, into around that area of the coast. That is where we've got the possible problems out there from heavy amounts of rainfall taking place for now, and that's going to cause problems. Remember, water over roadways, don't drive over that, turn around, don't drown, find another way to get to where you're going. That's going to be one of the most important things to remember when you're traveling. Also, again, we've had problems right around the Tennessee, North Carolina line, I-40. The eastbound lanes have been washed out, and that is going to cause a very good traffic snarl there because part of the roadway was washed out from underneath the interstate. So North Carolina DOT, that'll be one of your best bets for getting information about travel and what's going on in and around that particular area of the country. There's bound to be other backups and slowdowns thanks to the weather in regards to what we're seeing here, and that also will take days to rectify. As we see the chances of rain draining away, yes, but it's going to take a long time before we get rid of all of that taking place for right now. We did have a high wind warning in effect. Excuse me, as of right now, that has now basically been taken away with the exception of these counties right along the spine of the Appalachians. We've got high wind warnings here for Polk and Monroe counties in the News 12 viewing area to where we could see some wind gusts there. That continues until 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. That again tomorrow. The wind advisory, lesser wind gusts in the darker blue shaded category, but that is where we could see wind gusts of maybe 40 miles per hour. We've gotten rid of the Tennessee River Valley, the lower elevations around the Tennessee River Valley. Doesn't look like we have anything going on in the way of advisories, so that is definitely some good news. But it may still be kind of breezy even in those lower levels of the river valley. So for right now, the National Weather Service in Morristown has gotten rid of the wind advisories completely and totally. So there is little, if anything, left over here. But higher elevations, that is where we could see the windier conditions overnight, and that high wind warning again continues for Polk and Monroe counties into the overnight period. So that is where we could be seeing some problems, especially with high-profile vehicles. Anything in the way of an SUV, anything in the way of a semi-trailer, that is going to be the possibility of some problems. Anything that has a high profile, that is where we see the winds being able to push against those vehicles and cause a lot of wibble wobbles. So if you're driving tonight, especially through these higher elevation areas, watch what's going on ahead of you, because if some of those big trucks start to kind of fishtail a little bit, maybe get a little bit too overextended, there's a possibility you could wind up with a wreck right in front of you very quickly. And with wet roadways, you got to give yourself enough extra space to make sure that you can stop in time before you get into more trouble yourself. So let's be cautious, let's be careful out there tonight, and keep track of what is going on just to be on the safe side. Again, the flood watch is over. The tropical storm warnings are over with this system that has basically kind of wrapped itself up. There's not that much left of it, but we do still have a decent amount of wind taking place with this system. This is still an active system, even though it is no longer tropical. It is still sitting in place, again, kind of meandering around the Ohio River Valley, the mid-Mississippi Valley. There's not much of anything else there to where we could see anything in the way of clearer skies anytime soon. We need the rainfall, no question about that, but there could be some travel problems with this as we go into the next couple of days. Now, while we're at it, what is going on with the rest of the tropics? We want to make certain we're paying attention to what's going on here. Again, Helene, not much more than a tropical depression, if that. Way out into the Atlantic, and it looks like we have some updated information going on here. Let me just double check that real quick to see if we have anything new from the National Hurricane Center. And we do. This is now up to a 40% chance of a developmental possibility. So this is where we see a more, shall we say, moderate chance of development. So if you have any plans for a cruise out into the Atlantic, this could be an issue in several days' time. So something to look at there. Again, so far what we are looking for is just this system, a possibility of development moving right behind Tropical Storm Joyce, which has just formed in about the last 12 to 18 hours. So all told, let's count these off one by one. We've got the system here moving its way off of Africa, so this is now up to a 40% chance of development. We've got Joyce, that's number one. Joyce is number two. Isaac in the north part of the Atlantic, a Category 1 hurricane that is going on, and of course what's left of Helene. So we have 1, 2, 3 systems in the Atlantic, one over the North American continent, and into the area of the Caribbean. We now have another developmental area from just off of Central America all the way back up into the Gulf of Mexico. Something could form here into the next several days. So once again, it's time to be weather aware. We are just past the peak of hurricane season, where we're starting to come back down on the number of storms, but it's going to take October and November before we really get into a lower level. So anywhere in the next 6 to 8 weeks, we really have to watch what's going on. If you're planning a early autumn, late autumn vacation to the beach, this is something you really have to stay aware about. So for now, this area could develop into something. So anything forming here might make its way into the Bay of Campeche. Whether that is going to be a threat to the rest of the Gulf, it's very iffy right now because we're way ahead of schedule with this. 30% chance of a good, conducive environment might give us some more problems into the next couple of days. So toward next week, I would be watching this with a great deal of interest. So please keep it tuned to News 12, and of course we'll keep you advised as to what we're looking at here. For now, nothing else besides Helene on the maps, so to speak. So we're not seeing a big problem here with anything major going on. All right, clouds, rain on the camera lens at Island Cove over Lake Chickamauga on the Island Cove Marina and Resort camera on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network. The next 7 days look like this, and we'll be seeing more potential of, if my computer would cooperate, there we go, windy, some more rain on Saturday, and about a 60% chance of showers. I say there is a slim possibility of a thunderstorm, but again, that's less than 5% chance, but I would not be surprised to hear a rumble of thunder on Saturday. Sunday looks to have the potential of some showers, a little warmer, maybe a little bit more sunshine, and then back to the 80s, right about normal on Monday with a passing shower in the afternoon, and that's it. By that time, what's left of Helene should be passing toward New England and will no longer be a threat for us. So that is gone and done and over with. And then the rest of the week, very close to normal, just below normal temperatures, comfortable, and again, toward next Friday, there is a slim chance of some showers by Friday into Saturday. 10%, 15% coverage chance, that's going to be about it. So for right now, that's as good as we have to offer of rain anytime soon as we go from September into October. So looking pretty good for most of the rest of the week. Hopefully the students to and from school will not need anything in the way of rain protection, but we'll keep you updated on that as well. All right, that should do it for our weather. Let's take a look at some extracurricular stuff for tonight. Thank you very much, News 12 viewer Chris Dean from Armuchee, I hope I'm saying that correctly, in Georgia. A nice partly cloudy sunrise. Still learning pronunciations around here, so if I'm slaughtering these names, I desperately apologize. But thank you very much, Mr. Dean, for a view of sunrise from that area. If you've got weather pictures, we would love to see what you are taking pictures of. Again, anything as long as it's weather related, you can be anonymous if you want to, but if you've got anything in the way of weather pictures, please send them in to us. We're running a little low, so we could use some more, and we would love to show your pictures, but you have to send them in to us first. So pictures at WDEF.com. You can email them to us. You can drop them to our website, which is, again, where you can also see everybody else's pictures that they submit, or you can go to our social media pages. We post your pictures every single weeknight so that you can see what everybody else has been sending in. So if you have pictures, again, please let us know. We would love to see more about what you're taking pictures about. If you want to be anonymous, great, no problem. We won't use your name. We'll use a fake name or a moniker of some sort, a nom de plume if you want to, but we will not use your name. We would like to have a location and or a description if you would be so kind. That would be very nice, so we won't have to make up anything and be completely and totally wrong about anything. National Weather Service in Morristown, want to mention them a couple of times for tonight. First of all, with the rain and the winds this weekend, not exactly the best time for being outdoors, but if you have the opportunity and you would like to become a Skywarn spotter, and as of right now, this is really good news for anybody out there to where you can take the online course that they are offering. A lot of people would like to be a Skywarn spotter, but they can't attend the in-person meeting because they only happen a couple of times during the year in their particular location that is convenient to them. So one of the next best things we've got, again, courtesy of the pandemic, is that if you would like to learn more about becoming a Skywarn spotter, you don't have to be in a in-person meeting from your local National Weather Service office, wherever you happen to be. And I'm just not just talking about anybody local to the News 12 viewing area, but this will be handy for anybody who wants to take the Skywarn course, pass the quiz, and then register with your local National Weather Service office, and you will be able to, again, become a Skywarn spotter because you took the training, but you took it online, which means you can do this course whenever you want to. So this is a great opportunity to be able to learn more about severe weather. This is a good opportunity for anybody with weather phobias to give yourself a little bit more concrete hold over a situation, especially for kids. I've seen kids as young as 8 or 9 become Skywarn spotters because partly some of those are the kids who want to have a little bit more knowledge and control over what seems to be an uncontrollable situation. So knowing what to do, what to look for and how to respond to severe weather when it becomes a threat. That's what this is all about. Safety first, safety always, and you will learn about safety in these courses about what to look for and how to respond, and more importantly, what you can use to call to the National Weather Service, whether it's on a cell phone or whether it is on amateur radio, or again relaying information through the phone system 911 to the operators who can get them to the National Weather Service from there. All that's available. Also, when you pass the course and when you register, you will get a toll-free number for your National Weather Service office that you can call directly to the weather bullpen, as it were, so that you can talk directly to the people who are responsible for sending out the warnings based on the information that the Skywarn spotters can provide. It's not just all about what's on radar. You become the eyes and ears of the National Weather Service. That is something that is just absolutely incredible to think that we have citizens out there that can do an amazing job of watching what goes on and giving that information back to the National Weather Service. For those who are in favor of doing away with NOAA, you show me a private forecasting firm that does something like severe weather training and specialty information like this as well as NOAA does, and I'll be very interested to see what you come up with as an answer. But for those of you out there who, for some political reason, are wanting to get rid of NOAA just because of climate change, you're really rejecting everything that NOAA does, including severe weather safety. And I have not seen any private forecasting firm be able to handle something like this as well as NOAA and the National Weather Service does. So if you want to know more about what NOAA does, here's a very prime example of that. Now, again, that can be taken any place. Website, weather.gov/MRX, and you can find out more at our website, wdef.com/weather. Want to go back to the National Weather Service in Morristown again for just a second. Tomorrow, or if you're watching this on Saturday, today was supposed to be a very special day where the National Weather Service in Morristown was going to have an open house at their facility in Morristown, which covers the northeastern quarter of the News 12 viewing area, southeast Tennessee and western North Carolina. Well, then this week, a lot of activities planned out, great opportunity to learn more about the National Weather Service and, again, what NOAA does. Unfortunately, excuse me, a storm called Helene happened, and as of right now, there are damage surveys to go through. There are reviews of what went right, what went wrong. All kinds of other stuff need to be taken care of. So as of right now, sad to say that the open house for Saturday, this Saturday, the 28th of September Saturday, has been canceled. I really hate to bring that information to everybody, but before you start heading to this area and taking the tour, unfortunately it will not be happening this time around. When will it be rescheduled? We don't know. It depends on when the National Weather Service at Morristown is able to do this. You can find out more from their website at weather.gov/MRX. And if you'd like to know more, also, the link is available at our website, wdef.com/weather for more. Thanks very much to the National Weather Service in Morristown for providing this open house potential. I'm looking forward to the next time it happens so we can bring that information to you. So please keep it tuned to News 12, and we'll keep you updated on that. All right, so for our Vote Now page, if you'd like to take our web polls, wdef.com/vote now, or aim your camera at the handy-dandy QR code on your page. The question today, how many Skywarn volunteers are in the United States? 4,000, 40,000, 400,000, or 4 million? Well, it'd be nice if we had 4 million, but that is not the answer. The correct answer was gotten by half of you, 50%. There are just over 400,000 Skywarn volunteer storm spotters in the United States. That winds up being quite a lot per state. Nice to be able to know there's that many folks out there, but we could always use one more. So if you would like to be a Skywarn volunteer, again, go to the National Weather Service in Morristown, and you should be able to get more information there about what we will be looking for when it comes to anything involving training purposes. The more Skywarn spotters we have, the better off we will all be protected. So that will really help us out when it comes to making certain that everybody stays safe out there. So please consider becoming a Skywarn volunteer spotter. That would help a lot of folks out, and for myself as well, because your information could help the National Weather Service plot where the next severe thunderstorm warning, the next tornado warning is located based on the data that you provide in a certain area. So please consider becoming a Skywarn spotter. That will really help out on severe weather purposes out there and give you a great opportunity to help your community when necessary. All right, I think that is about it. Thanks to friendinroofing.com for being our sponsor. Thanks to all of our sponsors for being on our pages. Tomorrow morning, again, we could be looking at the potential of maybe some patchy fog overnight, drizzle, and all sorts of other stuff with low clouds. We could be seeing some visibility early in the morning, especially in the lower elevations around Signal Mountain, the area around the Cumberland Plateau, and into parts of the Tennessee River Valley. There could be some patchy areas of dense fog, so please consider that if you are going to be out and about early in the morning. Think that should just about do it. We've been on for a decent amount of time for tonight. How long have we been on? Just about half an hour. Okay, not bad for a Friday night on there. We'll continue to monitor stuff throughout the rest of the weekend when it comes to anything involving the weather, the tropics, all of that. So please keep it tuned to News 12, and we'll bring you updates online. And of course, we'll have forecast updates for you coming up on Saturday night and Sunday night at 11. Chip Chapman will be back with his forecast coming up bright and early on Monday morning, starting at 5 a.m. Eastern, and of course, I'll be back on Monday afternoon and evening with a complete forecast update there. Remember, windy and a lot of rainfall possible into this weekend, so a little bit of extra time and a lot of extra space between you and the vehicle in front of you will keep you from having a lot of long, boring conversations with your insurance agent. So let's make certain that we're all paying attention this weekend. Please, let's be careful out there. Hope you have a great, safe, and happy weekend, and we'll see you back here next week. Live and direct, I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick from downtown Chattanooga at the WDEF News 12 studios. More coming up from the News 12 Weather Center on air and online throughout the rest of the weekend.